Remember Adam said that we need a jingle.
I'm going to chop that down and EQ it and make it sound sick.
Howdy everyone and welcome to the Praise the Pickle podcast.
Woo! Woo!
Yeah. So
what was that voice?
Yeah, what was that? Who's that Pokemon?
Oh, dun dun dun.
So Dan has now been replaced permanently. I'm joking.
Wow.
No, so Dan has been moving house this week.
Busy boy.
Very busy boy, and his internet's not working, and it's just been a very busy week. So we're sending our love to him, but he will not be making this podcast. But we were going to have a special guest anyway, so I have with me, literally on my left this time, Charlotte Watts.
Hello.
Would you like to introduce yourself?
Can I have your
Charlotte.
name,
Hello.
your age,
I'm not
date of
like a
birth?
huge gamer, but I dabble a bit, I suppose.
Oh, that word,
Super
the double
excited
word.
to be here.
Hell yeah. And then I have with me on my right, Mr. Kevin Hart.
Hello, I'm back.
Would you like to introduce yourself, Kevin?
I am part of Praise the Pickle as the last special episode, or I wasn't mentioned. Just going to throw that one out there. I am back now,
Whatever.
and
Yeah, so I hope everyone's had a banging week, and
you must have had a banging week because you had the midweek podcast that you don't usually get. So
exactly. So we're going to be doing a midweek podcast every week now.
No,
although
that was a special.
I'm going to shout out, listening to it, it was good. I did thoroughly enjoy it. You
I
guys,
was going to ask.
I'm sure it was a struggle to fit an hour and 20 minutes into that for you two. So
It really was. Yeah. I'd be quite strict on how long we spent talking about each game. But if you haven't seen or heard, we me and Daniel went to EGX last Saturday in London, and we played a hella loads of indie games, and it was really good fun. And we did a special midweek podcast on it. So give it a listen. There's a lot of good games coming out soon, so give it a listen, yeah. And Kevin was going to come to EGX, but he decided to prioritise football. So
it was a good game, man. 3-0, Charlton. Hell yeah.
wait, Charlton actually won a game?
They won 3-0, man. They absolutely battered them.
Oh dear. Who
Who
are
were
they
they
playing?
playing against?
Swansea.
Cool.
No, not Swansea. Derby.
You went to the game. How do you not know who they're playing?
Derby. Honestly, the whole time I thought we were Swansea, and then everyone was talking, well, not in a Welsh accent, and I realised that it was, and I know it was Derby because it was another. It's going to sound really stupid, but it's another animal. Because like Derby's badge is an animal, and Swansea's badge is a swan, and I got very confused. It was a very confusing time for me, but I knew it was Derby. I did go, I swear.
Alright, it's starting your excuse for not going to EGX is starting to fall apart slowly, but that's fine. Right, so elephants in the room from last week. Charlotte, do you know this section?
Do I know it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what it is.
So I don't think there was any from the actual podcast last week, but from the midweek special, we were talking about a game, and I said to Dan that it was a game. He was like, "Oh, it's like that other game or something," and I said pinball, and then he went ping pong ball or something.
No.
What was
He said it was like a the game was kind of like a ping pong, and he was like pinball, and he was like yeah a ping pong ball.
Yeah, that was the only one really. And apparently we were supposed to mention that Kevin exists in that podcast, but Kevin was upset about that. But I don't care.
Lovely friend.
I'm not even going to classify that as an elephant in the room. So, should we get on to our top 3 games that made us laugh?
Yeah.
All right. Charlotte,
Has Charlotte got her
Why
own
am I
list?
going
Oh, she has.
first?
You're the newbie. The newbie always goes first.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hold on, I just got to get the notes up. All right, we're getting there. I'm always prepared, guys. Everyone knows this now.
Gosh.
There you go. What's your number 3?
So Ben and I played Until Dawn about a year ago, I think now.
Yeah.
Found that super funny, just choosing all their different options and kind of all the different stupid decisions you could make them make. So that was quite funny.
Yeah. It was the fact that it was the horror tropes were so over the top as well, wasn't it? So it was.
Well, I was going to say that I'm pretty sure that game's meant to be really serious, and you guys are just laughing.
That's what makes it so good, though, is that it doesn't take itself too seriously. I think.
Yeah. It's also a really good game, though.
Yeah,
like we want to replay it and stuff. Choose other options.
Yeah.
See if we can win it. Get everyone alive.
Yeah. I'll go next. So my number 3 is Overcooked, which me and Charlotte played. And I thought of this because we played Moving Out at EGX, which is quite a similar sort of game. But it was just so hilarious how bad we were at this game, to be honest. It was such a mess. Like, obviously you run like a kitchen and we didn't realise how over the top it is. So, like, the environment moves around and things and it just becomes a complete mess. And we
Did I hear that right?
Huh?
Did I hear that right? You move as a kitchen?
Yeah, like the kitchen moves around.
At one bit you're kind of on a train and then you have to jump between the tracks and like your kitchen separates.
Yeah, it's
it was
completely
more difficult
over
than we
the top.
thought it was.
Yeah.
Wait. So you play as a kitchen?
No,
you play as chefs, but the environment moves around you while you're trying to cook.
Oh my god! I thought
you're not a literal kitchen.
The way you said it to me, you was like, your kitchen moved around. I thought the way you said it, I was like, wait, you play as a kitchen? Why are you a kitchen in a game? Okay, all right, let's clear that up.
But that is just such a fun game to play with people. Proper party games, good fun. Go on, Kev.
Mine, I tell you, is more of a two different reasons why. The first, it's the game is Call of Duty World at War. The first is because of the amount of glitches that this game had. I think it was around the area, like the time where Call of Duty kind of started. Like they didn't really care much about glitches. They were in the game, and they were like, it was spots that weren't meant to be there. But it made so many funny moments that playing online. I think there was one where you could hide in a tree, and on Search and Destroy it, you could see the bomb in the distance. So if you'd had a sniper, if anyone goes near the bomb to try and plant it, you're sitting miles away in this tree. The amount of people that it was actually hilarious. And
there were so many glitches in that one. Man.
It was so good, man.
There was one. Was it that one where you could get inside it, like glitch inside a tank or something?
I think there was probably. I mean, that was a glitchy game. That was just full of it. And then and I had this one moment I specifically remember. I was playing zombies. There's they did have map packs and that, but it was the very first one, and it was 4 of us, and I think it was on about level 25. At this point, level 25 is manic on this game, not compared to what it is nowadays. And we were sitting in this corner right next to these like grenades above our heads, all of us, and it was just hordes and hordes of zombies just piling in at us. And I think we were playing this for such a long time, we started getting hysterical. And I started laughing so much that I couldn't hold my controller, and my mum behind me just started throwing grenades because I couldn't play the game. I just had her just lobbing grenades for me because I couldn't do anything. It was just,
I forgot about the glitches on zombies. Yeah, I remember those.
Oh, as well, that was Do
you ever look back at it and just think, what was the point though?
Oh yeah, definitely. Like it's almost like a cool gimmick part of the game, but it gets boring quickly. Like once you've done it once, you've done it.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, that's my number 3.
Go on, Charizard.
So this is when I was quite young, but I used to find playing Sim City quite funny. Actually, and the other Sim games, just the amount of destruction you can cause in like so many stupid different ways.
Yeah.
And I think just as a child, I found that really funny and for some reason enjoyed destroying cities and people's lives.
Wow. You're a
It's just so
savage.
fun. Like you'd have like
Whoa.
alien invasions and like huge tornadoes and fires and stuff. And everyone's famous thing in just generally playing Sims is getting them to drown.
Is that when you put them in a swimming pool and take the ladder or what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they just...
Yeah.
I had one in Sims where somebody got stuck on a toilet because the Grim Reaper appeared in front of them and they wouldn't leave and they couldn't move. And I think I ended up leaving the game.
Oh, God.
Just got too frustrated and couldn't do anything with them.
The amount of mania that you can cause in that is just insane. I never really played SimCity, I don't think.
Yeah, I played it when I was super young though.
Yeah.
Like, I stopped playing it.
Remember you used to play it when we first started going out?
No, I played Sims, not SimCity.
Oh, just Sims, right. Cool, alright. So my number 2 is Grand Theft Auto 5. I was just going to say Grand Theft Auto in general because the stuff that you can do in it is just hilarious.
Yeah.
But Grand Theft Auto 5, I just thought the characters were funny as well. Like, Trevor was just so funny. He just cracks me up. I can't even think of any examples, but he's just...
It's one of them ones, isn't it? Like you remember it being a moment of like humour, but you can't remember like the exact moments. You just know that it was funny.
I can't think of any particular ones, but there's just all the characters in it have their own comical traits. So
and it's all so stupid, isn't it? Like all the missions are so ridiculous that, and yeah, I've heard that. I mean, like even the online is just hilarious in itself.
Oh yeah. The online is just insane now. Like it's just completely insane.
I still don't like it personally, but
no, neither do I. But I mean, some people,
I don't know
some
why.
people like it. So I don't know. All right, go on, Kev.
All right, mine is, and I'd say this only probably came to my head because I've been playing the most recent one. Hint, hint for the future of the podcast. It's Borderlands 2.
Yeah.
The game's always been known as being quite hysterical and silly and just a bit manic. And Claptrap himself adds like 50% of all the humour going on. Yeah. Where at one point he has a pizza party and he invites loads of people, but no one turns up. And
that's so sad.
And then ends up dancing on his own, and he has loads of pizza. And then right at the end of the storyline, there's one moment where he's like, oh, "We're about to do it. Get to the final bit," and then he opens his door, and then there's just some stairs in front of him, and he's like, "Oh, I've defeated everything in my world, but the one thing that defeats me is some stairs." If anyone doesn't know, Claptrap's literally a little robot with a wheel as like the way he gets around, so he can't get up the stairs because he hasn't got legs or anything to get up it. So he's just sat at the bottom while we're all just run up these stairs to do the final boss. Like,
oh yeah, like, Claptrap's brilliant, man. Apparently he's not great in the third one, but because he's a different actor or something.
No, yeah, and not only that, you're not. Well, I mean, so far I've not been around him that much. You're more with I played them all and I love the game, but I can't remember the name. Like it's a Siren, whatever one it is. Edith? No, not Edith. I don't know. Where did I see Edith? In that game you guys are playing? Yeah. Yeah, that's probably where I heard that from. Okay. Anyway, yeah, Borderlands 2.
Yeah. Sweet. That's a good one. I imagined that would have been on your list. So.
Yeah. I'm very simple.
Yeah. All right, Charizard, number 1.
Yeah, so my final one, I don't think the game itself is funny. I think the experience that I had playing it was funny. So Zelda Wind Waker, I think I played quite young with a friend of mine, and we ended up just taking the mick out of all the kind of the enemies. And that's what made it fun to play, and found it really,
Yeah, it is a silly game, isn't it? So
it's a silly game,
the noises
but
they make
it's not there to be funny.
Yeah.
But some of the characters are just really stupid and make funny noises.
Yeah, I mean, Kevin obviously knows a lot about this because remember he said that Zelda would make a great movie. So Kevin, what do you think of Zelda Wind Waker?
It's a brilliant game.
As a film, I think
as a film, yeah.
Yeah. it'd be my third choice about all the games in the world.
Oh, by the way, Charlotte completely disagrees with you on that as well. So I think you were wrong with that one.
You know what? If he spoke, I reckon it could be an alright thing, alright game.
No.
I think it'll be...
Not at all. If he spoke, there would be an outrage, Kevin. I can't.
Well, yeah, obviously there'll be an outrage, but we're not talking about if there's an outrage. We're talking about if it was a film. So if he did speak, then although there might be an outrage, it might be a good film. So this is coming from someone that's barely ever played a single game of Zelda.
Exactly.
I remember playing one game of Zelda, and all the Zelda experience I ever have, is one moment I had to try and hit a what are they called? You know, like the on top of like buildings and stuff, they have like a north arrow and a west arrow and a little cockerel in the middle, and you spin it around with the wind. Or
yeah,
I don't know. It's basically one of them, and you had to throw something at it, I think, and I couldn't throw it and hit it, and that was the next bit I had to do, and I couldn't get any further, so I got bored and stopped. That's my
true diehard.
That's my Zelda experience. Yeah,
I'm really disappointed.
Therefore,
Yeah.
I have wanted to play it, but I haven't got a Switch or anything, so it's kind of a...
Yeah. I mean, it's
You're
not
missing
for
out.
everyone, to be fair, but... Yeah.
No, it's brilliant.
All right, no, it's for everyone, apparently. Sorry, guys. Who's next?
You.
Oh, yeah. I thought Kevin just had his because he kept going on about it, but it wasn't. But yeah, my number one is Time Splitters Future Perfect. I'm not going to talk about it for long because it's... I've mentioned it quite a few times, but when my brother Dan used to make me all of the levels, and just some of them were just so funny. Like that moment with the hundreds of gingerbread men chasing me around with baseball bats, just was forever etched in my mind. So that was probably the funniest time.
To be honest with you, all I know of you in that game is that one moment, nothing else. Imagine you replaying this over and over again.
I was young, so I probably did. But I mean, all the levels he made had their own little stupid thing to it. So yeah, that's mine. Kev, you're last. Go.
I don't know if this is cheating, but I'm putting Portal 1 and 2 together as like a Portal series.
Yeah, but
yeah, I mean, one of the greatest characters ever created, in my opinion, obviously. GLaDOS, the vengeful AI. Yeah. Like uses you as an experiment, calling you a monster and stuff, and he's just random singing. And then in the second one, you have Stephen Merchant, who becomes his assistant.
Yeah.
Which the first time I heard that, I was like, oh, I'm going to be so excited about this, because I actually love Stephen Merchant.
It's quite iconically funny, Portal, isn't it?
Yeah, and then I think that was that moment, if I can remember rightly, that GLaDOS gets turned into a potato battery or something? Or a potato gun or something?
I can't remember.
And it's just asked to get turned into a potato, and then you can carry around a potato all the time while doing his puzzles. Just... I don't know. That game was. I think it was a very clever, funny. Like, it was kind of like Stanley's Parable, I'd say, in terms of that person talking over you and telling you what to do. But with its puzzle aspects and just its comical, it was comical genius.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely my number one. I remember that game being funny and good. It's a very good game. No one's ever played it.
Yeah, I mean, I've only completed the first one. Never played the second, really.
Oh, but you know what? We should do it. 2-player, man. Double
you
up.
played it, yeah?
Yeah, I played it.
Yeah,
You can't
But I
replay
played
it.
it years ago, man. I played it years ago. I don't think I can remember any of it.
Maybe he won't
Just know all the
remember.
puzzles. Oh, I don't know. Maybe. We'll see. I've got a lot of games on my plate right now, Kev,
Need
which
to
we'll
play,
talk about later. Cool. So our top 3 for next week will be revealed in the feedback, won't it, Kevin?
Oh, yeah, it will.
Yeah. Cool. So let's move on to our feedback, Kevin. Go.
Oh, hello. That's me again.
People said to us? How have they appreciated us this week?
If I'm correct, we only have 2 bits of feedback this week. Usually I'm wrong with this. That's the 2 emails, yeah? Okay, all right, we're getting there.
No, you are wrong.
Oh, I am wrong?
Yeah.
But I asked about any other feedback and you said no.
Yeah, but I didn't want to tell you because then this moment wouldn't have happened.
Oh,
Why are
okay.
you
The feedback on
orchestrating
Twitter,
this?
isn't it?
I am an orchestra.
It's all the feedback on Twitter.
Of
Basically,
don't know.
the only feedback we've had so far has been on Twitter, and it's been about the special episode that I wasn't included in. So we'll leave that to him. Someone, so we had one email. We had two emails. The first one it said, just wanted to pop a quick note before I settle in and listen to episode 5. I'm loving the podcast. Clearly, you guys loved your games and chatting about them. I'm not even into gaming anymore. Old fart hung up my gaming gloves decades ago. You can still play games if you're old, just maybe not quick-paced ones. But love listening to you three chatting about the games you love, and you clearly have a huge passion for what you're doing. I love the dynamic you three have together. In a world full of negativity, it's just nice to kick back and listen to you guys on, except Kevin. I'm only joking. Someone has to like FIFA. Thanks for that. What is this? Just everyone hating on this game. When I started listening, I didn't think it was going to be my kind of thing at all, but I now find myself eagerly waiting the next episode has in store. Your production quality has progressed so much, and apart from some technical difficulties here and there, I think it's spot on. And we still have all of them, don't you worry. Every episode is a pain in the arse.
Yeah. This one's going to be the worst quality because I'm the one
it's going to be... Yes. It might either go really good or it's going to be really shoddy again, but,
we'll see.
I mean, we have Dan as a specialist, so...
Yeah, but he has no internet in Kent, so I don't...
Yeah, that's true.
It's up to us this time,
a little birdie told me you might have a special coming out, which we do. Go listen. Can't wait. Anyway, better not praise you too much, as you might start charging listeners. That will never happen. Keep up the good work, and really hoping it really takes off. Let us listeners... Well, me at least, know if you ever set up a Patreon or have merch of some sort. We'd love to support you guys. Well, if it does take off, maybe in the future. But for now, just sit back and listen to our pods.
Yeah, just enjoy for now.
Yeah. That was so lovely.
Yeah,
it was. It was from Anthony as well.
Yes. Thank you very much, Anthony. And
what's your surname, Ben? Do you know his surname?
I do know his surname, but I'm controlling myself. Okay, right. If someone signs off an email with their first and second name, then I'm going to read out the first
fair enough.
Name.
But you do it anyway.
Whatever.
Brilliant. Okay, so we have the second one, which from a frequent feedbacker. Yeah. Is that going to work?
Right, boxing gloves are going on.
Yeah, and you might want to get a really comfy chair because this goes on. Not saying we don't love it. It's just a hefty email. We're going to try and summarise all the points as well that you've made, ish. But yeah, she says, "Hi Pickles, love the last episode and have lots to say. So much that I quite understand if you pick and choose the points you wish to discuss. Apologies if I have the names of games and things wrong, but I'm sure you will understand where I'm going. So if all sitting comfortably, do we want to choose one of the certain points?
No, we can go through each point.
We'll go through them, yeah.
Summarise.
Okay. I can't. I'm not a very good reader. Okay, so summarising is very difficult for me. Reading through it previously, so
do you want Charlotte to do this one? She's a good reader.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
Oh
you know
my
what?
gosh!
You got thrown.
Jump in. Come on, you got
that's
this.
so much pressure.
All right, go.
Okay, so the first point was regarding parent skills, which they say that you all agree on.
Yeah, pretty much.
And that compromising communication between parent and child is important. However, sometimes this isn't always easy between them, and every relationship is different. Sorry.
Yeah. That's pretty much what we said last week, though, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it was more just that some children and parents don't have that kind of ability to compromise and discuss it.
I agree.
I also think it's one of them things that it's very difficult for us to speak as people that have never experienced this in our lives. So obviously, some of the stuff we're going to say, you probably will disagree with because it's topics that we've never experienced ever.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean,
we've only been that child.
Yeah, but apparently they have found bribery to be more effective. Yeah, and also just that some parents might not want to upset their child by turning off their game, but I think sometimes you have to upset your child in order to say no.
Yeah.
Like, you can't be scared of your child getting upset, I think. But...
No, I agree.
They might yeet you across the room.
What, pardon?
They might yeet you across the room.
Yeah.
Getting in with the lingo, innit?
Yeah. All the kids will start listening now.
Yeet.
Okay, so in terms of monitoring mental reactions, sorry, just quickly skim reading. So they are worried that maybe it can be used to make the games more addictive, rather than the fact that the monitoring of the internet behaviour happens all the time. And of course, companies have to make money, but I feel there are rather more honest and less unscrupulous ways of doing so.
I don't know what that word means.
Yeah. Sounds like something's not very tasty.
Unprincipled, so not having any moral principles.
Oh, okay.
Cool.
Yeah,
she's definitely used a thesaurus for that one.
I'll be honest. Yeah, I think I agree with that in the way that they act as if they care about your personal stuff, but then they only use this as a way of almost getting more. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's I mean, for context for people that it's basically, as a couple of weeks ago Dan was talking about in the news, he was talking about how Activision are trying to create this new AI system that monitors people's responses and physical and whatever reactions to events in games, and then by basically mapping those reactions onto NPCs to make characters in the game seem more realistic. And I agree that it is pretty much all to do with money, I guess, but everything is, I don't know, it's a hard one to tackle, because it's like,
it is.
If money wasn't involved, then no company would bother, would they? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So what's the harm of them putting more effort in to get more money to give us better products so that our money's not being wasted?
Also, I see it as a lot of the time with these is that usually you have to yourself give them the money. You yourself have to be putting your details in. You yourself have to accept this stuff. If you don't like it, then don't accept it. So it's a 50-50. I mean, even if they keep putting more and more of these things out, if people agree to it all and want to better it, then
it's your prerogative, essentially, if you want to sign up for it.
Yeah,
which I do agree that I feel like nowadays there are some things you can't sign, like it has like fields you need to put in before you can go any further. And you think to yourself, why do you need my number? Why do you need this? Why do you need that? Why is the...
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, I think this is... Yeah, I think the golden rule for this one is do what you want as long as it's an opt-in and not an opt-out. That's the main thing.
Oh, okay. One of my funniest ones is my dad. Yeah, always says he's whenever he's trying to search something on Google or do something in particular, he's like, where it says Google needs to use your location, he's like, why do they need to know my location? I don't understand. Like, what does my location mean anything to them? And he goes on some massive fit about Google location, and it's just I love it when he does it. It's like, why does it matter if they know your location? What are they going to do? They're going to breach you or something? What?
Send the riot squad for you.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
Okay. The next one is regards to freedom of speech. So what happened with that guy and China?
Blizzchung and Blizzard.
Yes.
I'm translating, guys. Don't worry.
Thanks. So to summarise, this person has decided to be undecided in their opinion, due to kind of lack of information, and kind of so wants to read it up about it themselves.
There was, I know, this week there has been more of an update towards this, and I think in the more competitive side of it. I can't remember exactly what, because I was just told this by someone. I probably should have read up about it because it did happen. Like I think apparently 3 or 4 days ago. So maybe we might address it next week or something. I mean, I'll be honest with you,
we might address it next week. Yes.
Well, yeah, okay, but I guess it's still important, and it's now.
No, I mean, as in you're saying this, and I know what's in our news, and it's not in our news, so so we've clearly missed something. So we will address that next week.
Oh, we will. Okay, we will address it next week. Okay, yeah. But yeah, again, I feel like it's something that. I feel like no one's right or no one's wrong with it all.
Yeah, it's all opinionated, this situation, I think. But it's if it wasn't China and it was anything else, it would probably be fine. Do you know what I mean? Like, I would understand if it was any other thing, but it was just the fact that it was an American company basically being like, "Viva la China," and giving these crazy bans and stuff just to show support for this country, which is essentially just sort of controlling the consumer market, I guess, around the world at the minute.
Yeah.
Just we don't agree with you, fine. That's it. Goodbye. If Apple pisses off China, there you go. Apple won't be able to have any of their products made in China anymore, and they're screwed, sort of thing. They have such power over the country, over the world. It's amazing.
I remember you told me one thing about it, that I think, is it Hong Kong has withdrawn from the
that was the big thing.
extradition.
Sorry, yeah. We might just address it now, basically. Yeah. This is more political news than gaming news, I guess. But Hong Kong...
That's the only thing I know.
Yeah, the Hong Kong government has basically withdrawn from the...
Extradition bill,
thank you. So the whole riots and stuff in Hong Kong should stop soon, hopefully, because so basically the riots have essentially worked, and they've changed their mind, because that was the reason. The reason for the riots was because of the extradition bill, and they've withdrawn it. So that's good.
Oh, there you go.
There you go. For all you politics fans out there.
I think that's good though.
No, it's good, definitely. Yeah.
My what was it? I think because Callum finally heard it, and he messaged me saying about if that I agreed to what Blizzard did, and me and him. I don't know if there's an argument, but like I kept stating the fact that he shouldn't have done that on Blizzard's grounds. He should have done it in his own time. He was there to play the game. And he was saying that surely in a moment, for example, if this was happening in England and people were dying from rioting because of something that the government were doing, you would want as many people to make this to be noticed, as many people. And that was the part that I didn't mention back to him, because in my opinion, I would hate it myself as well if that was happening. But I still believe that in this moment he should have stuck to what he was there for and made it in his own time. Yeah, agreed. Yeah. So
I would assume if he was there, he's like a big enough guy, where he can create statements like that.
Yeah, but it's more the fact that he shouldn't have said it.
Yeah, exactly. So he has a big enough following.
Oh, I see. Yeah,
in order to do it on his own platform and not on Blizzard.
Yeah. I mean, it's, the difference is going to be quite significant.
True.
It's a very small portion of the followers of a championship tournament, but it's still. Yeah, no, I completely agree. He shouldn't have done it in that sense, I don't think. But anyway, we can move on from this China thing now, because they've withdrawn the thing and it's all good. So let's move on.
Well, this big bit. This is where we need Dan here for the next bit.
Yeah.
You need to stand up for Dan.
In this one, you don't have to summarise that. Yeah. Go on. Just do your thing.
What?
Do your thing.
Okay. So this is in regards to the game that Ben played.
Again.
The name I can't remember what it's called.
Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice.
And so a list of adjectives and phrases have been sent back to us, to you guys, that you use to describe the game. So, for example, disturbing, dealing with extreme loss, distorted environment, lost and confused, induces a feeling like going crazy. I think. I don't remember you saying all this, but I'm sure this person is.
Can I just hit this? Can I just brush this
Nip this
under
in
the
the butt.
carpet now? Yeah. Right. Basically.
I haven't finished all of it.
No, go on. You finish everything she says, and then I will provide my closing statement for the matter.
So, they sort of question why you'd want to play a game that makes you feel like this, and they admit that they understand that there's a lot of mental illness in the gaming community, but struggles to understand how it's acceptable for a company to sort of aim these games at those kind of individuals. Sorry, 1 second.
It's a very long email.
It's a really long email. Sorry. So they disagree with the idea that it helps you to understand how it feels to have like a mental illness. For example, so when people play it, you'll just be sitting at home on your sofa, just playing the game, and so you're not really experiencing it. I guess maybe you're watching somebody experience it. And they don't necessarily agree that it's okay even if the company gives profits to charity, because the other ulterior motive would be for them to just generally get money.
Mm.
And that there are other ways to learn about mental illnesses. So read a book, watch it on TV, experienced it, or known someone else. And that's the same for everything. So you don't necessarily need to go to a video game in order to learn about mental illness.
Right.
Or every other
Is that pretty
illness,
much
I guess. And they make the point that doctors, nurses, firemen, police, etc. are not exploiting the plight of others in order to make money. So he thinks it's a bit of a weak argument.
Ooh.
Oh, man. Boxing gloves are out now. No, I mean, I can see go on. Charlotte's got her hand up. Go on.
As a point, they understand that you have differing views and you might have to agree to disagree.
No.
Okay.
No, I'm joking.
Right.
Okay. I think the main issue here is that they don't seem to, or she doesn't obviously doesn't play games that much, right? And for what it seems like is that she's not accepting that video games are an art form as much as TV or books, if that makes sense.
Or even just people going to see like portraits
Or
and stuff like that, just general art. Yeah, which represents it. And
it's you have to remember that it's a representation that creates awareness. It's not a scientific thing. It's not them being like, this is exactly what it would be like to be a Nordic person travelling to Helheim to get your loved one back if you had psychosis. Yeah, it's not like that. It's just a representation of what these people have to go through to create awareness. That's all it is. It's like, it would be like looking at I don't know, think of a painting that is I don't know, just Charlotte has a very blank look on her face.
I don't know people do it.
Okay, a book. What's that book that you've read? Something to do with a jar.
The bell jar.
The bell jar,
Sylvia
right.
Plath.
Why is that any different?
I mean, it's not, although she's writing about her own experiences in it.
Yeah, but it is an art form.
It's an art form, for sure, yeah.
That
and it makes you feel things.
That it makes you feel
Brilliant
things.
book.
Yeah. But it's not a direct representation. It's one person's take on something, isn't it?
Yeah, so it's her personal experience of depression.
Yeah, that's what I mean. And this one is, they've researched this thing and said this is a vague idea of what it's like to have psychosis, but it's not. It's still a game, and it still just creates awareness. It's just not. I just feel like you're thinking.
It's not
about
real either. At the end of it, it's just a game. Yeah. It is nothing. Nothing in there is. My take on it is that one, they didn't have to do any research for this game. They did it in to make sure that what they were doing, it wasn't not taking the piss, but they wasn't misunderstanding what it's like to have psychosis.
Yeah.
2, the whole thing where you think it's a bit like to think that they only give money to charities to almost benefit themselves. I think it's naive in itself to think that they would do it otherwise as well, because you don't know. But the thing is, we don't know the exact reason why they did it. That they might have an ulterior motive behind it, being it makes them look good. But it also might be someone in this industry maybe might have the illness, or not the illness, but to have someone in their family with the illness that we don't know the background story behind it. So obviously, a lot of this that you're getting is simply from what 2 guys have told you about a game and a little bit of background from it. So it's difficult to fully like anyone's point is very difficult to fully understand when we don't know the background behind it all. But I do believe itself is that it is difficult to I feel like if you were to look at this as just a simple game rather than it being something with like a specific goal in mind, being awareness. If you look at it simply, they've created this very immersive game that makes you. Personally, one thing I actually agree with, a lot of the stuff, why would you want to ever feel like all this? Which I don't understand myself. Like playing scary games, I don't understand the thing behind it. Like, you don't like, but being scared is not a nice feeling. Why would you want to be scared?
Get a rush off it. Like, it's just different preferences.
Well, then take drugs, man. You get a rush off that.
No! That's so different.
No, I think I can see what you're saying, Kevin, but this game is different. It's not scary in that sense. It's just really
odd, right?
Odd?
Just creates a strange atmosphere.
Yeah, it just creates a strange atmosphere. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
It's almost alien, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know. I think, and okay, let's just summarise. Okay, agree to disagree, fine, but you need. I think you need to try and broaden your mind a little bit and think that video games are also an art form as much as movies, as much as books. Okay, the same or if not more work goes into them. Why can't they show, represent real life things as well? Because if you take away that and say, oh, it's bad that they're doing it on Psychosis, you're taking away everything. Like there's what imagine? Could you imagine if movies weren't allowed to talk about real life issues?
Well, they weren't meant to let you experience them issues either.
No, but it's not about experiencing it per se. It's just creating awareness for something that those people are going through. Like, how would you represent psychosis in a movie? It would be a similar sort of way. The only difference is you're in control of the character in this. That's literally the only difference.
Yeah.
But so I just think if you can't tackle real life issues of art, then I don't want to live in that world, man. But let's leave the cinema chat.
I'd love to get him into the podcast to have an argument just about this, just to see where. No, because I think it would be good for people to see without it becoming through words and then us responding and then waiting a whole week for it. It'd be a lot better if it was just almost to broaden each other's minds about it. Because me personally, I sit in the middle of it all, so I'm not having an opinion on either of them because. To me, it's just a game. That's all it is. You're just playing a game. Whether or not it creates awareness or not, that doesn't.
I can understand
to me.
The worry of exploiting.
Yeah, no, I get that
kind of stuff in order to make money. I can recognise that side of the argument.
Yeah, but that applies to everything, doesn't it? Where's the line between exploiting and awareness?
Exactly. Then that's why I understand the other side of it, where it is still an art form. You're exploring issues and people's experiences, and I don't think that's wrong either.
Oh, it's the same thing with the new hit blockbuster Joker.
Yeah.
Has she complained about that? I mean, she might have done, I don't know. But, I mean, that's what I mean. It's exactly the same thing, but in movie form. It's someone... In fact, it's pretty much... That is a very direct comparison. You are watching a movie about someone with psychosis and loads of other mental issues, basically.
Yeah, because he imagines being with that girl, doesn't he?
Hey, spoilers, man! Jesus.
He imagines being his mother.
Anyway,
that's right. It's just spoiled one of the biggest movies of the year. Yeah, we're going to get
have you
a
not
lot
seen
of fans
it?
that way, aren't they? No, I've seen it, but anyone that listens to the podcast might not.
What I've seen with his
hasn't
mother.
even seen it.
He imagined it was his mother.
Anyway, let's agree to disagree and move on because we haven't finished this email yet.
All right, yeah.
Oh God, there's more.
Yeah, as well. Yeah. So, can gaming be a social experience?
All right, can we just brush over the rest of the
Yeah,
I agree with this so much.
So, yes, it's a good way to socialise with friends, but it means they're not experiencing the real world if they stay inside and play games all the time.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, she did bring a good point up actually about adults know the difference between socialising online and socialising in person, whereas kids don't. So they spend all their time socialising in games. They don't know what the real world's actually like, and I completely agree. Yeah. So.
I think I am a perfect example of this. Just because before university, socialising didn't come into my into Kevin. Socialising only came in when I basically stopped playing games and I started talking to people in the real world and actually socialising. So, and I mean, I've been socialising over gaming like most of my life, and I have not brought a single part of me of that into socialising in the real world. So, in my opinion, gaming is just a lie if you think it's socialising with other people, other than if you're socialising.
But it's a different form of socialising. Yeah,
I mean, I only play games with you and Dan and one day maybe Charlotte, because I can't be with you guys because you're very far away.
Yeah.
Right.
Otherwise,
No, I agree with that point. Right, you can have 1 point. There you go.
I'd argue that's not even just an issue for gaming, though. That's an issue with all social media and stuff.
Oh, yeah, completely.
Right.
Yeah.
Anyway.
yeah, that's true.
This is in relation to the black hole with...
Yeah, go on.
The fact that there are millions of people watching a purple screen with a black hole in the middle for 40 hours is incredulous.
It is bonkers, isn't it?
Do they not have a life?
No, is your answer.
Nope.
But yeah, that's sort of pretty much... she's just sort of amazed that people spent their time doing that.
Yeah.
Stanley's Parable. Thought it sounds a bit weird. First, he doesn't understand a game where there is no objective, either a mission to complete or something to be won. Secondly, why make the various endings so hard to reach that you have to look them up? It sort of defeats the object, doesn't it? It's almost like cheating.
That I partly... If you tried hard enough and long enough, you could probably get the endings. But one, I don't have the time, and two, I just didn't care that much about the game to bother. So it's a 50-50.
Oh, sorry, this bit's quite interesting. A second. In this game, if you believe you're exerting free will by not complying to the narrator, then I think you are taking the game to another, more serious, deeper level. But if you are simply ignoring the narrator, you are playing the game on a lesser level, and the fact he may seem frustrated would be of little consequence. Can't talk today. It very much depends upon one's mindset. The narrator's reactions are not specific to each individual player. Everything is programmed. If one realises that you, in fact, do not have any control over the game, I don't see that it can be classed as a serious experimental game.
Yeah, I agree with that.
There's a lot of words there.
Yeah, so. I mean, like, if anything, you don't have any free will in itself, because no matter what you do, there's always a consequence to that action.
Right.
Whereas you can't. But then again, that comes down to nearly every single game you play. Does it not?
It does. It's all within the
because
limits of code.
Unless you break that code and then it glitches out and you break the game. So it's kind of a.
Yeah.
So if you look at it in a very broader perspective, yes, it is an experimental game because you can disagree with the narrator and whatnot. But if you look at it literally for what it is, it's no free will at all.
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
Anyway, so just to finish up, 3 notes.
Yep.
Spanish for 6 is seis.
Cool.
Sorry, I said that wrong. I don't know Spanish.
Says.
See, and we're multilingual on this podcast. What did you say?
Leave jingles live. And apparently, Ben, you're going to like
Why
this
does she want
one.
to leave the jingles live?
I don't know.
I think she liked the jingle last week, didn't she?
Leave jingles live.
Kevin is fulfilling a vital role in representing the FIFA community.
I don't think they need any more representation anymore.
Well, it's going to get representation in the news, though, isn't it?
I can't wait, yeah.
And a couple of questions. So a couple of topics which they would like to know your opinion about.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think companies make games with longer challenges than they used to be, making it more difficult to pause and come back to?
Ben, you got an opinion?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't.
No, I don't.
But, like, isn't it simply just depending on if it's online or not?
Yeah,
if it's
pretty
online,
much,
you
yeah.
can't pause it. If it's offline, you can pause it.
Yeah. That's pretty much the blood of it, yeah.
Okay, next one. Do you think there are more mental games than competitive or action games being developed?
Mental?
No way.
As in, I think kind of what you were playing before, but they explore that
Story games and stuff, yeah.
Maybe?
No.
That's what I'm understanding anyway.
If that's what she means, then no.
There's so much more money in competitive games because people are more likely to play over and over and over again if it's competitive.
Yeah. A lot of people judge the worth of a game by how many hours they'll put into it. So when, competitive games you play for hundreds of hours, whereas a single player game like Hellblade or whatever is like 8 hours. So, yeah.
But less of your life.
But less of your life.
Probably more enjoyment as well.
Yep.
Do you think companies are running out of good ideas for games, which is why they develop spin-off games? I feel like I said about movies and stuff as well.
Yeah, I think it's just an easy way of getting money in a way.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like certain companies have a bad habit of doing that. Like, pretty much like, Activision, Ubisoft and EA have bad habits of doing that.
Oh,
but
like
they're
that one that we looked up that you love playing.
Which one?
It's like 28 games or something. Resident Evil.
Oh, God, yeah. Yeah, I think there's like 27 or 28 Resident Evil games, which is just insane.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
It's
they're all like
mad.
spin-offs.
Like, all the spin-offs and stuff. There's 7 mainline games and like 20 other ones. It's insane. I don't think that's much of an issue as much as it is in movies. I think movies is quite a pickle, but but in terms of games, there's so many new innovative things coming out because with games you have like, there's art styles and stuff, but then of course there's different mechanics and stuff. There's just so many, the variation within video games is just there. There's so many different things you can do. So I don't think that's really an issue personally, but.
Cool. Kevin, what do you think?
I think I said no. It's just more for money, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, at the end of it, you don't make a game for anything other than money, do you? So.
True that.
So, lastly, my idea for top 3 games.
I like this one.
Which games freaked you out so much that you were scared to go to bed?
Find out next week.
I've already got my number one.
Looking forward to next week's podcast. Loving it. From, as always, your happy pickler.
Yeah.
Thank you, as always.
I feel like I've been talking for ages.
Yeah, that was a long email, wasn't it? Jeez.
Take a sip of water. I got some dry lips there.
Thank you for the email. The only other feedback we got was in regards to our EGX podcast, where a few of the developers that we shouted out basically just said that they liked the podcast. That was it. If you don't listen to the EGX special,
what are you doing?
What are you doing? Yeah, I was going to say the top 6, but no, screw that. Go and listen to it. I'm going to give you spoilers. Cool. Anyway, I think is that the end of feedback?
Yeah. Well, that
cool.
email
So,
anyway.
Mr. Kevin, if people want to love us and just appreciate everything that we do, and just see what's happening in the world of pickles, how do they do
Encourage them.
You can go on Twitter at Praise the Pickle. You can email us at praisthepicklepodcast@gmail.com. Starting to turn into a tongue twister, man. Peter Pupton Pickle Praise the Pickle podcasts. Or Facebook at facebook.com/praise the pickle, where we get more questions. We're asking more questions with more and more answers.
Yeah.
It's good. It's a lot like the interaction. So
yeah, it's all good.
Get your feedback in and tell us what you think. Tell Ben he's got a big head.
Do that. Yeah, I've got quite a big head, so I'll take that. Yeah. Right, so on to the news. Oh, I forgot. I completely forgot about Kevin's section of the news again. Right, I'll remember this time. I'll remember. All right. Kev, your section.
Yeah. Wait. We didn't have the jingle wait, are we going to make our jingle we had last week into this week's jingle for the news? Are we even going to have a jingle for the news?
Maybe.
Oh my god, it's so
right, the news is ready. Da 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 da. There you go. There's our news intro.
Take it away.
Yeah.
Oh, she's going for it again, isn't she?
No, I'm doing this one now.
You're doing this one. Okay,
I've been speaking for about 3 hours, so right. So, not much news this week because Dan is the newsman and I'm not very good at doing the news, so I'm going to try my best. So the things that I found, anyone else can fill me in if I've missed anything. So a Twitter post suggests that EA games are coming back to Steam instead of Origin.
Oh.
Yeah, which is interesting. So in a world of increasing amounts of launchers on your computer, EA might be, getting the right idea and moving it back over to Steam. But chances are they just want their games back on another platform so that they can get more money from that community. So
yeah.
Can I ask a possibly really stupid question?
Of course you can.
So I know Steam because you use it.
I do.
I don't really know Origin.
Same thing, but EA manage it.
Oh, okay. So it's their own...
Just EA games.
Okay.
So launcher, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. I got it.
It's a little orange thing that opens up at the bottom.
It's kind of like eBay and Amazon. It's the same thing. They just sell it on different websites.
Yeah.
You have that, don't you?
Yeah.
You don't use it.
No, I don't really play EA games, so I have Battlefield on it, and that's it. Right, so next news story is that Fortnite are suing the game tester who leaked Fortnite Chapter 2.
They leaked it?
Yeah, because it was leaked before, remember? Before the Black Hole event.
I didn't know that.
They were like, there's it's rumours of Fortnite Chapter 2, which obviously had to be a leak, because how would they...
everything's leaked, man. Come on.
I know.
Nothing's a surprise anymore.
Fair,
yeah.
The amount of effort that they put into that, and to just have a game tester just leak it, I don't blame them for being pissed, to be honest.
I guess if you sign a contract about it, then you got to.
Oh yeah. That's the other side of it. Yeah, obviously, if they're testing Fortnite Chapter 2, the guy's obviously going to have to sign some sort of waiver. So, yeah, the guy's an idiot. And to be honest, it's kind of annoying that the guy did it, because it would have been even more spectacular if people hadn't rumoured that Fortnite Chapter 2 was happening before. You know about this stuff. When Fortnite disappeared. And
Yeah,
came back,
I don't know what happened afterwards, though.
It basically came back as Fortnite Chapter 2. So Fortnite
so it
2,
did do that?
much. Yeah, which is what everyone already pretty much knew because of the leak from this game tester.
Oh,
so
he ruined it.
He did, yeah.
That's a shame.
It's like someone
At least
told
he
you
didn't
what you
ruin
get for Christmas
what was
beforehand.
going to be in it.
I was going to ask
Is
what's
it
the
even
difference?
changed? Yeah, I don't even know what's changed.
A few things, like you can chuck people around and stuff now. It's not much, to be honest.
Sounds more like an update rather than
it does. Yeah, exactly. The main difference is that the map is completely different now.
Yeah.
So, and I presume they've made a lot more performance improvements and stuff. And Fortnite's suing them because why not? I guess I'm not very good at the news, so I do apologise.
Okay. You're doing all right.
Next news story is The Last of Us 2, the beginning of the decade, has been delayed until May 29th, 2020 from February.
What?
Boo.
Yeah, so...
I've seen all the trailers and stuff popping up and that.
Yeah, so I think... this is complete speculation, but obviously their thing came out, PlayStation... What's that thing called again? State of Play, their broadcast.
Oh, yeah.
And they did it, and I have a feeling that Sony were basically like, right, we really need to get some more information on our heavy hitters, because they got Last of Us 2, Ghost of Tsushima, and Death Stranding. And they already had a Death Stranding thing, so they were like, we need something big. So Last of Us, Naughty Dog were probably like, oh crap, let's just throw something together sort of thing. And then after the State of Play, they've probably reevaluated it and gone, yeah, it might be more like May 29th instead of February.
If anything, I'll be honest with you, considering how much you say you think, like how amazing you think the game the first one is, I think even if they delay something like this, they're only doing it to better the game.
Yeah, 100%. I'm upset because of how long I've waited already, but I would rather they delay it and it be finished than release it and it's still broken. Yeah. So yeah, it's a good thing, really, but it's
good things come to those who wait.
Wait till I shall. Yeah.
Practicing patience.
Yeah. So the next one is that the head of Ubisoft, I think. I don't know if it's the head of Ubisoft, but someone very high up at Ubisoft. A
representative, wasn't it?
A representative, yeah. Has basically admitted that Ghost Recon Breakpoint was a massive disappointment. Not just in terms of money and sales, but in terms of player engagement and how much people hated it. So he has basically addressed that they're releasing games too quickly and people don't like that anymore. People want bigger changes over longer periods of time. Basically, he hit the nail on the head and everything that he said was completely right. And it's so nice hearing that from like someone high up in a company with those issues, if that makes sense. Like if the head of EA came out and said, right, I know that we're taking the mick with these loot boxes or something, great, but from this Ubisoft has now delayed 3 games. Because I'm rubbish at news and I can't remember what games they are, but they've basically delayed a lot of their franchises to allow bigger gaps in between so that they can make them better to play and add more innovative ideas. So, yeah, what do you think, Kev?
I mean, it doesn't surprise me, considering the game in itself was so not different to the previous one. Isn't it like it's the same thing, just a different map, essentially, isn't it?
Pretty much, yeah.
And not only that, it's going to sound really stupid, but they do Assassin's Creed, don't they?
Yes, they do, yeah.
They do, yeah. A game like Assassin's Creed, in my opinion, there's so much potential for it because I kind of stopped after a while because they were similar but different in their ways, but I think the game was just too long for me. But games like that, I think if they put so much more effort and time and did actually delay them to include more content and better, because they released them games so quickly. You think like one year you're on like, I don't know, the Assassin's Creed 3 or whatever, and then the next year you're on like 4 like Assassin's Creed later, and it's like the next year. I know it doesn't work like that. It feels like they release one nearly every single year, but I think they do need to increase the amount of time they have between games because they don't put enough time and effort into it, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, agreed. Completely agreed. Yeah, they're just recycling the same mechanics and the same ideas over and over again. There's the whole joke with the Ubisoft towers because in Assassin's Creed 1, they were like, we're going to make these towers that you have to climb to the top of and then you open up more of the map. And then they basically brought that mechanic into every single Ubisoft game. It's just recycled mechanics. So, yeah.
I'll be honest with you. Yeah. Oh, yeah, go for it.
I was just going to say what the 3 games were.
Oh, okay. Yeah, good.
She's my PA.
I'm just better at research.
Whoa.
Watch Dogs Legion, Gods and Monsters, and Rainbow Six Quarantine.
That's big, man. They're
it's
like
all to do with their fiscal
games.
year, so it'll be after 1st of April 2020.
Oh, so were they supposed to come up beforehand? And they're pushing
so
it
they
to
were
the
supposed to
next
come at the
financial year?
end of this current fiscal year.
Yeah.
But because I guess also how the response to Ghost Recon, it's just caused huge problems.
It's interesting that they're delaying Watch Dogs because that was supposed to be like their biggest one. Which is coming out quite soon.
But did that come out this year, the Ghost Recon?
Yeah, like a month ago.
So I guess that makes sense if it's going to... We've got 6 months left of the fiscal year. So by delaying it, you're then delaying the profits to next fiscal year.
Yeah, that makes sense, yeah.
But doesn't that... maybe it's just being a bit small-minded of me, but does that not just show that they're delaying it just because they release them too quick. They're not actually delaying it. I mean, they have the core basis of the game already probably done by a certain time.
Yeah, I can see what you mean.
They're just delaying it to show that there's more gap between them all. They're not I mean, how much more can you really put into a game in that short amount of time?
What fundamental mechanics are they going to change in 6 months? Nothing.
Yeah, any game, honestly.
Early stuff in game development, the start for late stuff.
But I feel like any game that you're releasing that quick, and I mean, for example, I'm going to sound like a broken record here, but for example, with FIFA, they release that every single year. But the core basis of it is the exact same thing every single year. And they even use the same... I mean, I said to you, I think it was in the first episode, that they still have FIFA 19, like, the logo and the writing still in FIFA 20.
I know,
which means that, it's the same thing as all the Ubisoft. They're just reusing the same basis and stuff, and just to get a game out quicker, not re-looking at the game.
Go on, try it.
I was going to say, you don't know how long they're delaying it by. So they say, it's 6 months till April.
Yeah.
They've still got then April to March 2021
to release
these 3 games.
Yeah, because our argument there was just sort of implying that they're all delayed until April the 1st.
Right. I think it could be as late as fall 2020 and stuff.
In which case, that's a good thing. If that's what they're actually obviously the money thing is one thing, and like I said, companies need to make money, and that's all part of the business side. But if they're delaying it for a longer period of time, long enough to be able to change some core things of the game, then well up for it. Fully on board. Good job, folks. Cool. Next news story?
Yeah.
Right. So this one's a funny one. Anyone remember that game Fallout 76?
Yeah. Oh, I think I'm going to say about this,
Yeah. So, you haven't heard of Fallout 76?
I've heard of it.
You watched a video with me.
I did, didn't I?
Yeah. You know when they shipped out the wrong bags and everything?
Yes.
And they were just a mess, yeah. Pretty much the biggest flop in gaming history.
You play a lot of games, so they all kind of
sometimes
together in my head.
So basically, Bethesda, the company that makes Fallout 76, wants to charge people for a subscription service giving access to basically what everyone wants in Fallout 76. When I say everyone, I mean the 15 people that still play it. They want private servers so that you can have a full, world of just you and your mates and not just running to random people all the time. Which of course that's what you want, isn't it? That makes sense. You wanted a multiplayer Fallout game. We didn't want a global multiplayer game. We just wanted a Fallout game where you could mess about with your friends. So Bethesda, being nice guy Bethesda, was like, you know what? We'll do that for you guys, don't worry. And basically, they're asking people for $12.99 a month for access to private servers.
Oh, why have you got a... Why? Why?
How do they not understand that they've cocked up so hard? You can't ask for money from people. Especially not a subscription service, man. Come on.
That whole thing about it is basically the main reason I haven't got Fallout 76 is because something like, is it Dark Souls 3? I have to literally disconnect my internet to play that game because other people just join it.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
And I hate the idea that I just want to. If I want other people to join my game, fair enough. I'll make that happen. But why is it something that's just in the game? You don't want to have to play with other people all the time. You just want to play a game on your own.
Yeah.
Just the sole reason I haven't bought the game because I don't want other people being in it.
When I heard about Fallout 76, all I wanted was a co-op Fallout game. That's all I want.
So good.
That's all I want. I don't want this global, massive scale thing where you build up your own little forts and nuke each other or something. None of that. I just literally want to play a Fallout story, but with someone else. That's it. It's not hard to do. Just do it. Yeah. But good job, Bethesda. You're obviously very grounded in your opinion of your own game. So they obviously think Fallout 76 is now good enough to start charging people that much.
Apparently they're in-game protests.
Yeah.
For it.
In-game protests. Little placards.
Apparently the private worlds aren't actually private.
Yeah, I've heard this as well, yeah.
How? What do you mean?
Does it elaborate on that?
So you can't make them invitation only, which means anyone in your friends list may see your private world and join it.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Whether you want them to or not.
So, yeah, it's not even a proper private server. So, Yeah, again, good job.
Something about a Scrapbox.
Oh, just crap.
I don't think that's very interesting. But...
Oh yeah, sorry. With the $12.99, you get a unlimited storage container.
Yeah.
Apparently
it just swallows their junk.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
whatever that means.
Good stuff, man. Good stuff. Like, that's just insanity. But
Give the people what they want.
Cool. All right, that's the end of the news for me. So, Kevin, do you want to do your couple of bits?
Okay. So, as the FIFA man himself, I will have to bring light onto the main issue that has been caused in FIFA recently.
Yay.
Which is maybe I'll put like a main title of cherry picking. So this is more to do with the competitive FIFA scene. I'm not 100% sure how the competitive scene works in FIFA in terms of how you become a player that competes in it. But all I know is it's something to do with what they call the Weekend League on FIFA. That's where you play from Friday to Sunday. You play 30 games throughout that whole weekend. And depending on how many wins you get, depending on how high you get ranked. So generally you need around 29 to 30 wins to get into the top 100. And I'm guessing the people in the top 100 go off to the competitive scene and they play against each other. I'm not sure exactly how it works, but a big thing came out that a lot of the professional FIFA players, they have a Discord where they talk to each other so that they can search. But okay, so there's another thing that to do with the searching system and stuff in FIFA that once you get to, it has like different bands. So if you have like, say you've won 10 games, lost 2, you have an 8 difference gap. So you only play people with that 8 difference gap kind of thing, and it increases. So the people with, say, the professionals, say if they're on 20 wins and no losses, they will, there was a Discord chat where they'd basically tell the other people when they were searching, so that they wouldn't play each other and make them miss, so like they wouldn't have to play another one of the competitors.
Okay.
With this, a lot of streamers and stuff are getting quite good at FIFA now, and they don't care about the competitive scene. They just care about doing the best they can, because the better you do, the better rewards you get in game as well. And there's this one streamer. His name was Run the Foot Market. Yeah. Well, Foot is FIFA Ultimate Team, so it's because FIFA has a market in it as well. I don't care. You know what? So he was basically on, I think he was on about 28 wins and 1 loss, and if he had one more win, it means he would get into the top 100, which means obviously one of these pro players would get kicked out of it. And so these people in this Discord were messaging when he was searching so they could play him and beat him, meaning they were cherry picking their opponents. And apparently, this 1 week that it happened about. Apparently, he played about 6 professionals. Considering this is meant to be a leisure game mode, and he's just playing himself. You know, he's just searching, getting whoever. He played about 6 of these professionals. So these 6 people tried to stop him from winning, and I think the thing that kicked him over the edge was in the 90th minute of the game. He was 1-0 up, and they disconnected him. And these professionals, they know every single which way they can to make themselves get into this top 100. Like, if they have to leave a game because they're losing, so they can play it again, then they would do it. And
sounds like a tactical chunder.
Tactical, yeah.
Yeah, tactical chunder. Yeah.
Stay in the game.
And yeah, so and he basically made like a 30 to 40 long minute video that got a lot of like awareness and stuff about it, because it was,
in essence, you can cherry pick your opponents in ranked FIFA. No.
The thing is, you can't. But it was for the fact that all the professionals were coming together and talking. Like, cherry picking is against the rules in FIFA. In this, it's something that's like, it's, I wouldn't say illegal, but I guess it kind of is in terms of
frowned upon.
Bannable?
Bannable. There you go. Bannable.
Oh, okay.
It's a bannable offence.
It's illegal.
I didn't want to say illegal because it wasn't the right word, but I didn't know what to say. Yeah, it's a bannable offence. And yeah, I was like, because it wasn't actually like a live thing of all these people talking. It was just more like screenshots of them saying all this stuff. And I think this is mainly in the North American area, something like that. But yeah, it was just, you know, I think it just shows how, because I think another thing for these professionals, the reason they do it is because I think FIFA has one of the lowest payouts in terms of competitiveness. So the amount of professionals that get like $1,000 a year from playing professional, because unless you do well in like playing the games, you don't get anything out of it. And not only that, FIFA has one of the highest. To be competitive in FIFA, you need to pay a lot of money to get good packs, which comes back down to the loot system.
Yeah.
You know, FIFA's loot system is so broken and so messed up that professionals need to spend loads of money in order to be better than everyone else. We have the better players to make it a big enough possibility for them to get that higher, which I guess, in essence, means they need to do whatever they can to get around this system to get themselves in the top 100. Otherwise, they're not going to be able to compete and get any money.
Yeah.
Doesn't sound worth it if they don't get a lot of money, though.
It's just a fundamentally broken game, to be honest.
Yeah, and I think
didn't
it was...
realise there was like professionals for FIFA.
Professionals for every game, but
yeah.
But I was associated with like 15-year-old boys.
Yeah, no, there's definitely FIFA professionals, yeah. But it's the same with a lot of things where it's like, if as a professional esports player, you'll make no money and then you'll make loads of money. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sure.
So basically,
there's
okay,
no
like you look at Blizz Chung, for example. In fact, I'm not going to name anyone because I don't know what their money situations are. But someone that trains for esports in an esports team, lots of esports teams have never made any money.
Right.
You know, they might make some money to keep them going from advertisements, but they only get money when they get big payouts from winning championships.
Okay.
So if you look at like Overwatch League and stuff, all those teams that come near the bottom every time, they never get money. Like there's no money in it. It's mad.
You know, is it T100? Are they a professional team now? I think they've stopped. I think they primarily came big from, I think, Nadeshot. And he's like a Call of Duty guy. But this year they couldn't compete in it because they just didn't have enough money for it. So they've had to get rid of that part of it because I think it might be in their weakest area.
Sounds flawed.
I think that's a risk you take, though, isn't it?
It is a sport, and the same thing applies across all sports. But I mean, back to the actual news story, yeah, that is ridiculous that they're doing that, yeah. And that just shows how fundamentally broken the game is, that they can actually do that. Yeah,
there's that as well, yeah.
Yeah.
I think they need to reiterate how their ranking system works.
Yeah, definitely. Right. That's for all you FIFA fans out there, all three of you. Kev, you wanna tell us what's coming out this week?
Oh, it's coming out this week. Oh, this is.
I've got my list up. Don't worry.
Okay. There's the list. Okay, we've got the list. Oh, and the list has disappeared. Thank you very much.
Great excuse. Good start.
It was on my internet, and then it just. Okay, we'll get there in a sec. I'll be honest. I think I'm going to miss quite a few here, just because it doesn't seem to have.
It's not a massive week, to be fair.
Okay, maybe that's
yeah.
Maybe that's good for me then.
Yeah.
All right. So we have. Oh god, I don't know how many to go for. Close to the Sun. Is that a big game?
Coming out? Fairly. It's a quite big indie game. I don't even know what it's about. I can't remember, but it's supposed to be quite good, I've heard. So yeah.
All right. Disney classic games. You've got Aladdin and the Lion King coming out.
What?
Yeah.
Love me some Disney.
I do wonder whether Lion King's going to be as difficult as it was back in the day. Do you remember the old ones we used to have on PC? Remember when you have to like jump up that waterfall bit, and it's like one of the hardest things in any game ever. I wonder if they've made that easier or not. I'm curious.
Memories.
The Resident Evil, which I said last week, is coming out this week.
Wait, did you say it was coming out last week?
Yeah, I thought it was coming out last week.
He's not very good at this.
I've got my dates wrong.
Oh, yeah.
I think I'm pretty sure Ben addressed it at the time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I watch him like a hawk in these bits. Yeah, but by the way, it's not just Resident Evil. It's Resident Evil 4, 5 and 6 are coming out on Switch.
Wait, 4 is coming out as well. I didn't say 4.
Was that remastered?
Just says 5 and 6.
Yeah, all remastered, yeah.
Exciting.
Was like I went last week? I called it something else, didn't I? Not remastered.
Something like that, yeah.
Super Monkey Ball Banana Blitz HD.
Yeah, I'm excited for this, man. I haven't been a Super Monkey Ball game for ages. It's fun.
I've never even heard of them.
Oh.
Have you ever played Super Monkey Ball?
I've never heard of it.
What? What have you not heard of Super Monkey Ball?
Because it just sounds ridiculous.
I wouldn't expect you to have heard of it.
Wow.
But that's surprising. Really? You literally play as a monkey in a ball, and you have to just get to the end of the course. But you control the course. So
what, instead of the ball?
Yeah, so you make it like angles that you're like, you go downhill, down gradients and stuff. But it's some levels on Super Monkey Ball are some of the hardest things ever. Honestly,
what's that coming out on?
That could be a good top 3
on PS4, Xbox One, and Switch. You'll probably pick it up.
Are we getting it?
Yeah.
Cool.
Is Yakuza 4 a thing?
It is a thing.
Yeah. Oh yeah, okay. The remaster collection is coming on PS4. October 29th.
Here, but I've heard they're remastering all the old Yakuzas. But that's exciting because a lot of people that started playing Yakuza in the last few years would have only played 5, 6 onwards. So the fact that they're remastering all the old ones means that people can play it chronologically now, which is quite cool.
How many are there?
Lots.
Of course.
Yeah.
So we've got Jennifer Elysium coming with PC VR on October the 31st.
I've never heard of that. Okay, cool.
Luigi's Mansion 3 is coming on Switch.
That's the biggest one this week. Yeah, I'm
October
going to pick that up,
31st.
definitely. Sorry, we are picking that up.
Yeah, excuse me.
And this it says that Project xCloud for Xbox is sometime in October going to be coming out. Which,
yeah.
I mean, there's not much of October left, so I'm assuming it's going to come out this week at some point then.
I think it's beta now, isn't it? Closed beta right now.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
It just said it's going to be October TBC, to be confirmed.
Oh, okay.
And then 4 days left.
Yeah.
VR Ping Pong Pro.
Woo.
For PC and PSVR coming out at some point.
All right.
And that's all the ones I've got on mine.
Yeah, you've only missed one. That's quite a big one. That After Party game. Do you remember we mentioned it before, Kev?
Oh, okay.
The one where you go to hell and it's like university sort of thing, and you have to basically beat the devil in drinking games and stuff.
Oh, you told me about that.
Yeah, it looks really good. That's coming out on October 29th. And there's loads of games coming out this week. Yeah. There's so many games coming out this week. I don't blame you for skipping out.
I need this website, man.
There's tons. So look it up yourself if you think we've missed anything.
Yeah.
But
that's like Harvest Moon.
Yeah, there's a Harvest Moon game coming out as well. Apparently, Mad Dash, Mad King.
So that's about it, isn't it?
That's about it. Yeah, I'll give you that.
Decent, double decent.
I'll give you 9 points for that.
Thank you.
Cool. So let's move on to the "What have we been playing" section. Bit flat. Who wants to start?
Should we let the guest go last?
We'll let her go last. Yeah.
Alright.
Go on, Kev. I've played quite a lot, so.
Oh. See how it is.
I've played tons this week. It's so bad.
I think the only game I've actually played, and I've absolutely banged this game out. I've played so much of it. Any moment I have to play, I play it, and that's Borderlands 3.
Yeah.
So I picked it up, played it with Dan, which I think my whole... I don't know if you can... Did the saves go over from one PC to another?
Yeah.
Is it all over...
Steam?
It saved him through that, okay? Because I'm getting my new computer next week, I think. So,
wait, I was going to leave that till the end. That's the exciting news that you won't be playing games in standard definition anymore.
It's called Kev definition. It's the best. It's Borderlands 3, and so I started playing a bit on my own, and then Dan jumped in with me when I was a bit of a higher level. Then we caught up together, and then where Dan's been so busy, I've now overtaken him, and I'm probably very far away from him now, which is probably quite bad of me. I probably should have waited and stayed with Dan, but I love the game so much. It's so much fun.
Yeah.
I find it a mix between being quite chilled and laid back, but then you do have all this music pumping in your ears, shooting going on, just mess everywhere on your screen.
Yeah, it's pretty hard, isn't it?
They're very aim or like cling towards like high bass and just extreme, like I want to say thrusting music. That's not even a thing, but like I just
like Barry White.
Oh yeah, man, Barry White. That's what we want for your thrusting music. Making up a new genre of myself.
Thrusting music.
Just deep drum and bass.
I smell episode title.
Oh, why every time? I mean, the only bad things I say is the characters themselves are a bit weak. But they do. As one thing that I think they're very clever about actually is that there's one part of the game where I don't know if you remember. In the previous Borderlands, that when you get like a certain amount of kills with like a certain gun, or you kill a certain amount of enemy, you get like a tiny like percentage upgrade on one of your choices of like 3 or 4. Do you remember that? So if you killed like 50 skags, you would get like a tiny little upgrade for like, you can choose it to be like punching, or your guns be like 0.01% or something.
Oh no, I haven't played enough Borderlands, so I wouldn't know.
Oh, okay. Well, they had that in previous ones, but this time you can only unlock that once you've played through the game once. So in terms of being able to specifically, because I wanted to play my game as being very much sit back, sniping people, getting your critical headshots and stuff. But you can't adapt your character at the moment to be like that. You can only adapt it once you've played the game through once.
Oh, that's it. So it's like in-game content sort of stuff.
Yeah. So, and I mean, for example, it's a bit annoying considering at first I didn't realise that until I think Dan told me actually. Where I mean, I was playing the game with really crappy guns because I had like really crappy snipers because I couldn't find a very good one, and I was told that there's no point because you can't actually adapt your character that way. So now it's just a mess of get the best gun you possibly can. Yeah, but either way, it's I mean, the bosses are cool. They're all very unique themselves so far, and just absolutely loving it.
I have a question.
Very big as well. Oh yeah.
If it's like end game content, is it the kind of game you'd want to replay though in order to get those benefits?
It's very weird. I mean, Dan himself has said to me that he wants to skip through this playthrough so he can get to the second playthrough.
Right.
I don't know.
Some games are like that, to be fair, where the content doesn't really start happening until the end game. Like,
but if you've played the entire game.
But remember when I was playing Destiny 2?
Yes.
The space game.
Yes.
Yeah, and the space game.
There's loads of those. I know which one. That's when you're living back in Sutton, right?
No, I was playing it here.
Was it here?
Yeah, I played with the controller, and I bought the DLC for it for like £40.
Oh yeah.
And that's the same thing, where the end game content is what people play for. So you sort of skim through the story as much as you can, and then when you get to the end game, you start getting all the really good weapons and stuff like that.
My only problem with that on Borderlands, though, is that it's a very, very long game. And I mean long because you can't just do the main missions, otherwise you're going to struggle with the levels and stuff. You have to do some of the side missions to keep your level up.
Yeah.
And I mean, so far I'm literally finding every single mission I possibly can and doing all the side ones before I do the main one. And they have a Halloween special at the moment, so with what?
Sorry, I interrupted.
The point in going back.
Yeah. That's
That seems flawed slightly.
I know what you mean. It's that's basically where I stand on lots of these games, where I don't like games that they're like, end game content, and I'm like, Yeah, but what are you working towards at that point?
Yeah.
Once you've got the end game.
Yeah, so you complete the game, and then, you can repeat it or whatever, and you're like, and you get all these super duper weapons and stuff, and it's like, for what? What purpose?
To defeat those enemies again,
Yeah,
in
that's
different
what
ways.
I mean. Yeah. It's like, I've brought it up before, I'm sure I mentioned it to you. Remember I said I completed Resident Evil 4 13 times to get that gun?
Oh,
It cost $1 million gold, whatever it was, and I got the gun, and then started playing again, and then I was like, why did I get the gun? And now what? What am I supposed to do now? That basically it summarises end game content to me. Yeah.
It's still hardcore, isn't it?
Yeah.
The difference between like Destiny that you played and Borderlands is that you didn't need to do like side missions.
Yeah, no, you do.
Like
you do
some of
loads
them, but not all of
stuff.
them.
You don't always have to do all side missions.
Okay, I was just trying to.
Because Borderlands is more of a fairly linear, like quests and story quests and proper side quests and stuff. Whereas Destiny's there's just this big open world. Where it's like, you can do this public quest for people. You can do this raid. You can do this. It's more like free flow, I guess. But I mean, the reason I stopped playing it was because I got to that point again. Got to that point where I was like, why am I bothering with this? What am I accomplishing out of it? Nothing. So
how long is Borderlands meant to be? Like hours wise?
I've never really known games to have an hour time until I started doing this podcast. So
yeah, it's how Ben always talks about it.
I didn't know it was a thing. So it's kind of a up bench. I mean, I'd rather not look to how much time it's meant to take you. Otherwise, you feel like you're really crap at everything because I'll probably take longer than it should do.
No, that doesn't matter. It gives you a rough time on how long it takes between, if that makes sense, depending on how much content you do.
Yeah, I guess in this case it's going to take me. I was going to say
it's not as long as you think it is. I don't think.
How long is it?
If you just do the campaign, it's 20 hours, and then about 30 with side quests and stuff.
Okay.
So
all right, fair enough.
That's not massively long in reality.
I feel like you mentioned a longer one the other day, like 60 hours or something.
Oh, Fire Emblem Three Houses.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, that's like 70 hours.
At least you're not spending that much time doing it.
Yeah. Right, is that all you play, Kev?
Yeah.
Anything else to say on the matter?
Nope, that's just my only game.
Cool.
Clearly enjoying it if that's all he's played.
Yeah. I've played 5 games this week.
Love it, Doc.
I haven't seen him all week.
Yeah, I'm on the 2019 hype. All right, I need to get some 2019 games completed for our Game of the Year thing. So, I played a game that we picked up at EGX. We got the developers gave us a beta key, which is very nice of them, called 10 Miles to Safety.
That's sick.
Yeah, it's like a zombie game. Basically, you start in the middle of a zombie apocalypse and you hear on the radio, we're 10 miles away. If you come to us, it's safe here, sort of thing. So you have to travel across this zombie-infested place together. It's like an isometric, top-down sort of thing. But the catch is you have to find a place to defend every night. So you pick up loot on the way, find a building, and then create barricades and razor wire and stuff to protect yourself overnight, and then keep moving the next day. Go on.
That one you're playing with.
That's a very decent idea.
That was the one I played with Dan. Yeah. So me and Dan both got keys for it, and it's really good fun. It's a little indie game by. God, I can't remember the name of the company already.
By God! Crazy game for us.
Something Jump Games, I can't remember. But one guy made it, and it's just astoundingly good for one person making it. And it's just good fun as well. Like,
it does sound cool.
It takes that top-down twin-stick shooter style, but adds a nice twist on it. And it just creates this really nice balance between you want to get as far as you can during the day, because obviously you need to get to that 10-mile point. So you're trying to get as far as you can during the day, but you also need to loot on the way so that you have enough stuff to protect yourself with overnight.
Okay, yeah.
So it's like a balancing game of how much do you loot and how much do you run, essentially. So yeah, really good fun. Highly recommend anyone pick that up. It's quite cheap as well, I think. Came out last Monday, so... what else I played? I played a bit more Felix the Reaper, not very much, literally about half hour, an hour. It's so difficult, man. Like, the puzzles are just so complicated. I can't believe I haven't played a puzzle game this hard in a while. I was like, I've only got like 20 levels on it, and now I'm just thanking the Lord that there's only 20 levels on it, because it takes me so long to do each one that, and the fact that he doesn't dance in time to the music still really bugs me. So
yeah, I think I'd be at the end of my thing with that. I'd hate to see that.
It's outrageous, man. I can't.
Maybe it's pretty difficult to put something in the game.
Surely not. Just to have someone dancing in time to music. Like, it can't be that hard. I don't know.
Or they could put an animation in that delays his dancing when you walk, so that he starts dancing when it hits
exactly.
a good time.
It can't be that difficult, surely. I don't know. It's weird.
Let him live his life.
Yeah, maybe he's not a musical genius.
It's just dancing off.
He probably just enjoys the music.
Yeah, maybe. But yeah, it's pretty decent. I wouldn't recommend paying £20 for it, whatever it costs. I'd say Game Pass would recommend it, but I wouldn't pay that much for it. It's not amazing. I completed Gears of War 5.
Did you?
I did.
What?
Yeah, I really enjoyed the last act. It was good fun. Like,
but the second act was like 10 years long.
Yeah, the third act was 10 years long as well, and then the fourth act was really good. So, third act, you know what happens?
How much did you play?
Do you want me to tell you what happens at the end of Act 2?
Yeah.
All right, you get picked up right from outside that lab. Marcus and they'll pick you up, and then as you're about to leave, they're like, "Oh, we better take the skiff with us." You know, the little parachute thing.
Yeah.
And I was just like, no, please, just leave the skiff here, and then you basically take a helicopter to a desert and have to go around a desert.
Oh God, no! Oh, what? Just a sad thing to do.
I know. Yeah. So you basically spend 90% of that game.
Oh, how did you manage to keep going with that?
Well, the desert was a lot better in terms of where you stopped.
Oh,
You're basically putting together this massive missile thing to get the Hammer of Dawn started up or something. And but the places you stopped were a lot more interesting, so it was bearable at that point. Act 4 was really good. People die. Spoiler alert. So skip forward 30 seconds. So skip forward to a minute. Skip forward a minute.
I don't actually. Do I want to listen to? I think I care that much.
So guess who the hero is at the end of it?
No way. Is it Dave?
It's Jack. His name is, but
Jack.
It's Jack. Yeah. So basically, at the end of it, you're fighting this massive Kraken thing, right? And you're getting pushed against this wall, and they're like, "Oh, we can't stop it. What are we gonna do?" And then Jack communicates with Baird, and basically he's like, and Baird's like, "No, Jack, don't do it." And then Jack flies into the Kraken's mouth and becomes a beacon for the Hammer of Dawn. And kills the Kraken, and it's really emotional. This little robot.
Wait, so you don't even kill him yourself?
No, Jack sorts it
out. I hate games that are like that. I hate when you're not the reason why you win the game, or something else happens. It's like, you're fighting this thing, you're slaving away, and then some other odd thing comes in like a cutscene. And
Jack is a playable character, okay?
Yeah, I get he's a playable character, but if something else just comes in from elsewhere, then just does it, and it's just like, no, I've worked so hard for this.
Jack's a babe, man.
Wait, I wonder if you're controlling Jack, you've got to fly into his mouth.
That would be. I actually kind of want to know that. Yeah. It's a cutscene, isn't it? So no. But
okay.
Yeah, it was really emotional, though, man. And then it basically ends on a cliffhanger, and it's like, oh, next one is going to happen then, pretty much. And there's also a bit where you have to choose between two people, which one of them dies.
Oh.
Which is also quite emotional. But
okay.
The last act was very good, I have to say. If the rest of the game was as good as the last act, minus all the, obviously the people dying and stuff like that, just in terms of gameplay and set pieces and stuff, Act 1 was really good. Act 4 was very, very good as well. And then Act 3 was pretty good. And Act 2
literal fillers.
Yeah. But I'd say, Kev, if you've got the time and you haven't got anything else to play, try and finish it. I know, no, in fact I wouldn't, because you'd have to get up to the bit that we stopped at yourself, because it doesn't save for you.
Oh.
Yeah, sod that.
So I'll be starting from the beginning because I haven't done anything of...
You'll be starting from the beginning, yeah.
Whoop-de-doo.
Yeah. Right, and 2 new games I've been playing.
Oh.
The first one, it's called Moons of Madness, which is madness. And it's a sci-fi horror game, like similar to the likes of like Soma, that sort of thing. But it's set on Mars. It's really good. It's basically you can tell it's created by someone that loves sci-fi stuff.
Okay.
Like, all the animations in there are so good. Like, you know, when you, it's hard to explain. How do I explain it? Okay, for example, you need to top up your oxygen supply. You see him pick up the little thingy, put it, your little pipe, put it onto your helmet nozzle thing, and then top it up. And when you go into an airlock, if you can take your helmet off before you change the atmosphere, and if you do that, then you suffocate and die.
Just that tiny attention to detail.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's so many attentions to attention. There's lots of attention to detail in it, and because of that, it becomes a really immersive thing. And you actually feel like you're a mechanic on Mars, and it's so cool. And it's got lots of puzzle elements, which I wasn't expecting, which I really like. So things like, I don't know, creating paths for electricity and finding things. At first I was thinking, it's kind of long, but it makes it a lot more interesting. Instead of just like fetch quests, it's more like, how are you going to tackle this one, and they're all very logical puzzles, which are really cool. And it is a horror game, so there's basically been like an outbreak of this thing on Mars, and it's very, very good. Highly recommend.
You got scared
indie
playing
game.
it.
I did get scared playing it, yeah.
Did you?
Yeah, of course I
Yeah.
did. Yeah, I play the horror games for the rush, so yeah. And then the next game, this is the last one on my list, and
This is Outer
Super
Worlds.
excited about it.
super excited to talk about.
Is it Outer Worlds?
Worlds?
It is. I saw a little clip of that, and I kind of want to jump on.
Not kind
He's
of want to.
obsessed
Careful.
with it.
Don't play it until you get your new computer, but you have to
Yeah,
play
I was
it.
going to wait for that.
But
Yeah.
honestly, you really liked Fallout New Vegas, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, this takes Fallout, right? Puts it in a juicer, right?
Oh, yeah.
And basically squeezes out all the good nectar from this juice, which is Fallout, yeah? So all the good things about Fallout go into your little cup, and then all the corpse of this fruit that are in this juicer gets chucked in the bin. All the glitches, all of that. Just rubbish.
I can imagine that cutscene right before the game starts. It's just showing like Fallout New Vegas going into a blender or a
You've created
juicer.
such an image there, haven't you?
Yeah.
So that's pretty much what it is. It's basically Fallout, but good.
How far are you into it? Is it in multiplayer?
No, it's not. No, but
sad.
I'm about nearly 8 hours into it, and I started it on Friday.
What happened what happens to you having university and not being able to play a game? 1 week
No,
you
I
go
did
from
work-
being
I
able to
did
play
some work
nothing, and then
yesterday.
this week you... And
It's
you was helping
because-
Dan move.
It's because Outer Worlds came out, man.
He stayed up really late Friday night
Yeah.
and then did some work yesterday. Then came back home and stayed up late again.
Yeah. No, but it is amazing. Like so
You're
good.
very pleasantly surprised by it, aren't you?
Very much
You're
so.
quite worried about it.
I was worried about it, yeah, because it's a day one Game Pass. I'm always a bit like,
No, but it's okay because they're owned by Microsoft.
yes, it's okay because Obsidian are owned by Microsoft. Yes, we looked it up.
You're welcome.
Gosh, she's a good PA,
Brilliant.
isn't she?
Researcher.
Sorry. So yeah, basically it is.
Don't say too much though. I want
No. It's basically a more comical version of Fallout, right? But anything is an option, pretty much. You can talk to loads of different people. You can. Okay, so for example, in the first town, I went up to this guy, right, who is one of the main quest givers in this town. And he was like, yeah, I need you to do this. And I didn't like the way he was talking to me, so I shot him in the face. And he died, and that was that. And then I basically managed to get one of his subordinates to follow me. And then I managed to set up the subordinate with a engineer on a spaceship in some weird relationship. There is just so much scope. It's insane.
Is it like there are almost so many options that you can't really give a spoiler?
Pretty much, yeah. Like anything could happen. Like so I can't go back to that first. Well, I can when I go back to that first town. All the guards try and kill me. But so as a consequence of that, I was like, okay, fine. I went to the power plant next door and diverted all of their power to a neighbouring city. So now they don't have any power. And like it's just incredible. There's so much stuff you can do, and but it's also really nicely voice acted. Pretty much all the characters are interesting. So it's at first when I first started playing it, I said to Charlotte, I was like, there is a lot of talking in this game, and at first I was thinking, I don't know if I can be asked for this. But that's one of my favourite parts of it now is the conversations because of how you can lead them in certain ways. It's just. Like so you know the skill that I've upgraded is my persuasion stuff, so that I can convince them to do anything. It's just but the gunplay is so much better than Fallout. It's a lot more refined, so the areas are a lot smaller but a lot more interesting. You know, it's very bigger colour palette. You know, the guns are really interesting but less of them again. I don't know, actually it's probably about the same amount of guns as Fallout. But yeah, amazing. Highly recommend to anyone. As it stands, it's like a 10 out of 10 for me. So yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Sounds good, man.
Good. Right. All the games I've been playing this week. Everyone play Outer Worlds. And if you like horror games, play Moons of Madness. Charlotte, our lovely guest for this week, would you like to talk about the games that you've been playing?
So I completed Zelda, Link's Awakening.
Yeah. Finally.
Hey, I did a good job.
You did. What did you think of it?
Really good. I really enjoyed it. I would definitely play again, I think.
You'd play it again?
I'd play again.
Oh.
Eventually,
just for the
not
end
straight
game
away.
content.
Just for the end game content.
Yeah. No, there's like little bits which I didn't manage to do and stuff like that. I think the only kind of downside is it's really difficult to do without a walkthrough. Well, at least I found it really difficult to do.
No, it's impossible.
Yeah.
Like,
is this the one that came out recently, or is that the?
Yeah, no, the one that came out recently.
Yeah, when he's like a kid.
Yeah, or it's like toy town sort of vibe. Everything's like colourful and squidgy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess. Like there are bits where you go in a dungeon and you have to fall down a specific hole, whereas everywhere else in the game, if you fell down a hole, you die. And you wouldn't know to fall down a hole without the walkthrough, and then you can't do the dungeon, and it just... That's the only frustrating thing about it, I think.
It was literally impossible without walkthrough. I mean, I've obviously played a lot of games, but like, just seeing some of the stuff you have to do on that, and it was like... Yeah, you have to fall down this one... In a room with loads of holes as well. And it's like, you have to fall down this one hole to get to the next bit. Yeah. But there's no indication whatsoever that you need to fall down a hole. Like Charlotte said, if you any other hole you fall down, you take damage. So why would you think to go down that hole? There's just so many things like that.
Is it like endless, that hole? Or is it actually like there's a bottom to it?
No, it's just a black hole. It's all the same.
Oh. No, so in the dungeon, you fell through to a floor below.
Yeah, no, but it looks the same. There's nothing indicating that it's a different type of hole.
Yeah. But like the first couple of dungeons, we did without anything. Then they got harder and harder. Yeah. And I had to use one, I'm afraid.
No, I think most people had to use one, to be fair, from what I've heard. But you liked it.
I did really like it.
Out of 10?
Huh?
Out of 10?
8?
Yeah.
8? It's pretty high scoring.
I mean, I'm not like a huge gamer, so for me, it was a good game.
So what's a 10 out of 10 to you so people can compare?
A 10 out of 10?
SimCity. Killing people.
Oh, Hat in Time. Mario Galaxy's pretty good.
Yeah, I think Mario Galaxy and Hat in Time are like your all-time favourites, aren't they?
Loved playing those.
Yeah. Cool. So I think we're going to lend it to Dan, aren't we?
I've also been doing Child of Light.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Oh, right.
I'm still talking about Zelda still.
Oh, Zelda, yeah. Sorry, I got so confused.
She panicked.
I did panic. I was like, wait, what?
Yeah, so we're going to lend it to Dan, see what he thinks of it as well.
And once he's finished, I might lend to George as well.
Okay, cool. We're going to lend it to George first, to be fair.
What's your surname?
Shut up.
Oh no, because George could take ages to do.
Okay, yeah. Anyway, Jesus, why do we always do this?
Sorry.
And you've also been playing Child of Light, as you
Sorry.
said. The Switch version. What do you think of that?
I haven't played it this week, but I have been
What is
playing
it?
It's you're like this princess.
She might need help for this one.
As in, what type of game is it? I don't really the backstory.
Okay, it's like a side-scrolling indie. No, it's not indie. It's by Ubisoft. Where you play as a princess, and it's basically a RPG, turn-based combat.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And they all speak in riddles, not riddles. They all rhyme and stuff. When they talk.
Yeah. It's kind of like a storybook, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's just the artwork's amazing.
Yeah, the artwork is incredible.
It's all hand drawn, I think, and it's just so beautiful.
Was that sarcastic? Well, Kevin.
No. Like, just the fact that it is all hand drawn is pretty mad.
So sarcastic. Wow.
I could do that in my sleep, mate.
And I really appreciate it because it's turn based. And I just can't hit.
It's not quite
buttons quick
fast, though,
enough.
isn't it? Because the way the combat works, you have to think quite a lot.
Yeah. You have a certain amount of time, but you can slow them down and stuff.
Yeah.
But it's just a
that's
really
good.
cute, fun game.
Yeah.
Cages for the idiots.
But it's got a really cool mechanic where you play as the girl, but you also play as the light thing with the other stick or
Yes.
something. Yeah, so you have like this little fairy that flies around you.
No, it's like a little like firefly thing.
A firefly thing. Sorry.
Sorry.
That you basically control with the other stick, and you can move it to pick up items and stuff, which is quite cool. But you also use it in combat. So if you
It slows down your
enemy. Time to next attack, basically.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so you can slow down each enemy so that you can get 2 attacks in before they can have one, sort of thing. So it looks really good, to be fair.
It's really fun to play.
So you can play that, yeah.
I need to complete it. Yeah.
You're quite far in it though. You've played quite a lot of it.
Yeah, I've got to a point now where you're wandering around the map to these different shrines, and it's just a bit kind of like long. Yeah.
Cool. That's everything then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's everything. So normally at this point, sorry, go on.
What about the other one?
What other one?
Is it because Dan's not here?
Oh.
Should we leave that for
We'll
Dan?
leave that for next week, and you can write in and tell us what you think of it, and then we can do it. Or you can just jump on the mic if you're here. Why not?
Just run into the room.
Yeah. Hi.
Hey guys.
So we're going to be talking about What Remains of Edith Finch next week because Dan's not here. So I know some of you guys that love the game are eager out there to hear about it. So you're going to have to tune in next week, I'm afraid. Cool. That's it. So normally at this point I'd say spoiler alert because we're going to be talking about our game of the week. But our game of the week this week is Evil Within. And Dan, first of all, hasn't completed it. And second of all, he's not here. So we're going to just... big old pause this week on Game of the Week, so it's going to come back next week with Evil Within. And then the week after with Escapists 2, and then the week after with Void Bastards. Kevin, have you started that yet?
No, I thought, the thing is, I feel really pointless downloading anything on my computer now.
Yeah,
because,
no, just wait.
Yeah. So I've got an extra week now, haven't I?
Got an extra week, yeah, so it's all good. Cool. So that's everything, isn't it?
I think so.
Excellent. Cool. So, housekeeping. Kevin, if people want to love us and adore us and send us questions or feedback or tell us how amazing we are or tell us how rubbish we are or tell us how annoyed they are that Dan was not here this week or tell us how
That's not
frustrated
fair.
they are at the fact that we haven't got Game of the Week this week, how do they do so?
So you can tell Dan how smelly he is by going onto Twitter at Praise the Pickle. You can tell us how disappointed you are in Dan at Praise the Pickle podcast at gmail.com. So you email us. Yep. And you can tell us how excited you are to see Dan back next week on facebook.com/Praise the Pickle.
And if any of those are sent to the wrong thing, then we will be deleting it. So get it right.
Yeah, and you have to send it over again.
So our top 3 for next week is going to be our games that
Going
we
to bed,
freaked
yeah.
out about, so couldn't sleep afterwards. That's going to be easy for me.
That's going to be very difficult. Just never happened to me. So,
Well,
Good
okay,
luck.
let's like
Scary games.
scary. What top 3 scariest games you've played? Yeah, because I mean, I don't think that's happened to me either. To be fair, apart from once. Cool.
Hardcore.
I'm pretty hardcore, I have to say.
Because you're not hardcore.
Excellent. So, Evil Within will be our game of the week next week. And thank you for Charlotte for being our super special guest this week.
Yeah, woo! It was a good first episode for you. That was good.
Yeah, that's good.
Was it?
Naturel.
Did you enjoy it?
Yeah. No, sorry.
Right, so she ain't coming back on
No.
again. Great.
I really enjoyed it.
Excellent.
Doesn't mean everyone else enjoyed it.
So I'm sure we'll get the feedback about how good you were.
Maybe.
It's like the blooper section. It's
Hopefully.
always the end has like a blooper section. Like, we just talk in the podcast about.
Yeah. All right, cool. That's it. Have a smashing week, guys, and we'll see you next week. And hopefully Dan will be with us, but he is with us in spirit this week. So
Yeah.
toodaloo, everyone.
Bye.
Bye. Pickles.
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 You have to say it.
Pickles.